So I was going to do a review of the Platinum Preppy fountain pen, but I realized there's been many reviews over the years that are a lot more thorough than I'm prepared to be. So I just wanted to run through why I like this pen so much. And generally speaking, I'm not a huge fountain pen fan, but after having picked these up and buying a whole lot of them, I really do find it to be an attractive pen. And when I say a whole lot of them, just for reference, it's like many of them. So I have been really using them a lot and really enjoying them. So first off, here is the bare bones Preppy. It comes with a little cartridge, usually in blue or black or red or green, a few other colors. But this is the basic package. It has some writing here and here, which is really difficult to get off, but there's a new version coming out called the Preppy Crystal, which should be available in the coming months, that won't have this. So you don't have to worry about that. Again, it normally comes with a cartridge. I don't have it in here, but it's a very simple body. Good, really nice shape and very easily convertible into an eyedropper, which means you could fill this whole body with ink instead of just using a cartridge, which means you get a whole lot of ink and it looks cool. And that's what I've done right here. Basically, see a standard Preppy, but the back half, or the bottom piece, is filled with ink, so you can get a whole lot of ink relative to just using a standard cartridge like I do here. So I would highlight the versatility of the pen first and foremost. It's also the price. These things sell for $3, which is just a phenomenal price for a pen that's going to last you for, at least a year if you take care of it. The other things I would highlight about, in addition to the versatility, is just the kind of look and feel. This is just a simple, handsome pen. I actually find it to be a really nice size and shape. As far as cheaper pens go, it's at the top of my list. And even as far as more expensive fountain pens go, I really find myself going back to items that are in this approximate size and shape. I really like the folded nib design. It's not quite the same as a Lamy nib, and they're not interchangeable Lamy nibs, but I really do think that these folded nibs look very cool, and they're more in keeping with my aesthetic sense than a very big, ornate, Mont Blanc nib or something like that. So I'd also say that is something I really like about it. As for some of the modes of usage of this pen, obviously you have the eyedropper and you have the cartridge usage. And I would just say this also can be easily converted to the Platinum Plaisir or whatever it's called, which is a much more expensive pen. Basically, all the Plaisir is this nib and section and cartridge, but instead of using the plastic from the Preppy, they use metal pieces from the Plaisir. So I'm going to get this pen, which was a Preppy, flip this back piece, and put on the metal cap, and you exactly have a Plaisir, which is about a $15 pen instead of a $12 pen. I really don't like the Plaisir cap. I think it's just too big and too bulky. So I'm going to go ahead and slap a Preppy cap on it. And that way we have a really nice looking pen, nice shape with that metal back, which I really like. The only problem with this is you cannot do an eyedropper conversion here, which you don't want your ink touching metal. As for the problems with the pen, there are a few. First of all, I would say they do tend to dry start with certain inks. Not with all inks, but with drier inks. If you leave the cap off even for maybe 2 or 3 minutes, there's a good chance you're going to have a dry start and you have to put a little pressure down there to get it to flow again. With other inks, that's not really a problem, but it can be a serious issue and be very annoying. The biggest single problem with this pen is cracking. And I know this was more of an issue in the past, and I think it's been largely addressed, but what happens is that the plastic bodies can crack if you over tighten the pen. And that's exactly what I did with this one. You can see right here, the plastic is thin from the threading. I over cracked it, and now this body will not stay in place. That is actually why this pen has been Frankensteined together, because it had a cracked body. The main problem with this is that if you were to do the ink dropper conversion and then crack the body, you're potentially looking at a pretty serious mess. But once you put the silicone grease in there and you put an O-ring here, if you could see, I added that O-ring there right in the middle, the likelihood of cracking the body is diminished. So I haven't had that happen as much, and I haven't had any leaking problems with my converted Preppies. So while this is a serious issue, I would say it is avoidable if you are careful with the pen and you don't play with the threading too much. So that really covers why I like this pen so much, except for the last item, which is the writing. So for a $3 pen, it writes quite well. And I just wanted to run through kind of what it looks like and let you see that. It's not going to write like a $180 pen or your fancy gold nib pen, but it does do a good job, and it's very effective at day-to-day note-taking. So this is the Preppy in medium. You can probably barely see that. It says 0.5 millimeter. This is a very common size for this pen. So we have the not a huge amount of line variation, but just a solid day-to-day note-taking pen, which is really all you could ask for of a $3 pen. I'm running this with some Pilot ink in it. It's not the Pecky, it's something like that. They're other very common blue. And here it is in the fine, which is a 0.3 millimeter tip. It's also sold in an extra fine, which I think is 0.25 millimeter, but that one is just too thin for me. And this one is using an Ackerman ink, kind of like a blue-black Ackerman. If you care, I have a prepped writing sample here, and that one is just going to be a little bit easier to read and a little bit cleaner of a preparation. So you can see the medium versus the fine. So I think that really covers most of what I like about this pen. Just dependable, versatile, just fun to use, and you can buy a whole lot of them and really test out inks, which is my main usage for them. It's also handsome, and trying to think of what else. But yeah, I really do like the Preppy, and I highly recommend it. I don't think it's like an unrivaled writing experience, but as a total package, it's really impressive that they were able to put these out for $3, and I'm really excited for that Preppy Crystal to come out, because your eyedroppers are going to look quite phenomenal soon. Okay, thanks for watching.